Hi SILEM stars, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is SILEM. If this is your first time seeing my face, you're welcome to my channel. But if you're a SILEM star, it means you've been following this channel for a while now. Thank you so much for your support. In today's video, guys, we're going to learn how to make a lovely armhole princess that bustier with built-up collar or built-up neckline. Okay? In my last video, we learned how to draft this armhole princess that bustier with built-up collar. And in this video, we're going to learn how to sew it from start to finish. Now, if you're a beginner when it comes to making bustiers, my Bustier online class is for you. It is so detailed. You're going to learn how to make different kinds of bustiers. You're going to learn how to make bustiers for plus size clients, how to pad your bustier perfectly, how to add bust caging to your bustier, how to make a bustier with underbust corset. This course is packed and it is online, so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can definitely register. Okay, so if you want to register for my Bustier online course, I'm going to leave the details in the pinned comments down below, so please do check it out. Without further ado, let's get right into the video.
Oh, hey, I didn't see you there.
So this is the pattern I drafted in the last video. I'm going to leave the link to that video in the pinned comments down below. So I left ½ inch around all the pieces except the armhole curve. I didn't leave any allowance at the armhole curve. I simply left the ½ inch allowance on the neck, the shoulder, and the sides where I'm going to join. Okay, so just go ahead and transfer the pieces to your fabric. Now I also cut the same thing on my lining, and I used hairstay on the fabric pieces. I didn't use hairstay on the lining pieces, but you can actually use hairstay for the lining pieces for yours. But for me, I did not use hairstay for the lining pieces, just the fabric pieces. So now I'm just keeping the pattern papers aside so I can work on my fabric. So this is what it looks like. In addition to the hairstay, I also used collar stay on the neck of the back piece. As you can see, just the center back pieces, I used collar stay so that it stands very well. The collar stands very well. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and join our pieces together. I'm just arranging the pieces the way I'm going to sew them. So I'm going to sew these two back pieces together. I'm starting from the bottom and I'll sew all the way to the top. And then I'll also sew these two back pieces together as well. So I'm sewing one side back piece with one center back piece. Okay, for the front piece, this is what it looks like. I used hairstay. I also used breast pad for the bust area, for the side front and for the center front, and then I also used the collar stay. Now for the breast pad, as you can see, it did not start all the way from the top. The breast part started at the chest line and stopped at the under bust line. And then, like I said, I use collar stay for the neck area. Now I'm just arranging the pieces the way I'm going to sew them. I'm placing the side front piece on top of the center front piece with the right sides facing each other, and I'll sew from the bottom all the way to the top. Same thing with the other piece. I'm sewing from the bottom all the way to the top. Now after sewing, this is what it looks like. I did the same thing for my lining. Now I went ahead to open up the allowance and I ironed it flat. Now I'm placing the lining piece on top of the fabric piece like so. Now I'm just trimming off a bit of the lining piece. I'm trimming off ½ inch away from the bottom part of the lining piece, just so that when I sew it or when I turn it with the fabric, the lining does not come out in front. Okay, so that's why I'm doing this. So just go ahead and trim off ½ inch from the bottom of your lining piece. After that, the next thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and sew along the neck. Just sew along the neck with ½ inch seam allowance, and then once you're done, pull the lining so it's equal at the bottom and then join them at the bottom. Okay. After that, also sew the sides. Now for the back piece, we're also going to turn it with our lining. This is what it looks like once we've ironed it flat. We iron the allowance flat after joining the pieces. Now I'm placing the lining piece right sides facing with the fabric piece. And then I'm also going to trim off that ½ inch from the bottom as well, just the same way I did for the front piece. I'm doing the same thing for the back piece as well. So just trim off ½ inch from the bottom of the lining. For the same reason, you don't want the lining to come out in front once you're done turning it with your fabric. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make them equal at the bottom, join them at the hem, and then also sew the neckline and the sides. Okay, sew the neckline and sew the sides after joining them at the bottom. So after turning them with the lining, this is what they look like. I've also gone ahead to iron the pieces flat. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to work on the back pieces. We'll place them right sides facing like so. Okay, now from the top of the neckline there, I'm going to measure 4 inches downwards and I'm going to mark that point. Now we're going to sew from the top all the way down to that 4-inch mark. We'll sew this with about ½ inch seam allowance because I don't want my zipper to start all the way from the top. If you want your zipper to start all the way from the top, you can actually leave it open and then attach your zipper from top to bottom. But for me, I'm going to be attaching my zipper from that 4-inch mark all the way to the hem. Now after attaching the zipper, this is what it looks like. So the next thing we're going to do now, we want to join the pieces along the shoulders. Okay, so I'm going to place the front piece and the back piece right sides facing like this, making sure that they align at the neckline, and then I'm opening the lining pieces and separating them just as you see me doing. Make sure that they align at the center, but then separate the lining piece and the fabric piece. Now sew from the center to one end on the fabric piece and from the center to the other end on the lining piece. So after joining the shoulders, this is what we have. I'm just going to flip it now to the wrong side and mark the body measurements. Okay, after marking the body measurements, I'm going to join both pieces by the side and then I'm going to go ahead and put in the sleeves. This is the finished look, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video.